Histories of almost all places where people live are full of inaccuracies and riddles that scientists like so much. And the history of Bieḻaïa Carkva, White Church, a small village in the northeast of Belarus, is one blank question. The distance from Florida is 5,527 miles, and it is the only thing that can be said about this village precisely. The name White Church comes from a local name of a temple, the ruins of which are located on a peninsula. Some say it used to be an island, on Lake Chariya, some call it Lake White. Some historians say that in the early 16th century the statesman of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania Bahdan Sapieha founded a Basilian monastery here. Basilians are Greek Catholic monks who follow the rule drawn up by Saint Basil the Great. In 1599, the brick Trinity Church was built in this monastery. It was popularly called the White Church because of the color of its whitewashed walls. Still, there is a legend that the Trinity Church was built in the 15th century by the Italian architect Aristotele Fioravanti. In 1475, at the invitation of Tsar Ivan III, he came to Moscow and built the majestic Dormition Cathedral in the Kremlin. They say that on the way from Bologna, Italy, to Moscow, Aristotele met Bahdan Sapieha and helped him build the White Church. The brickwork of the walls and vaults of the Trinity Church and the Dormition Cathedral in Moscow are similar. And the quality and size of the used bricks are practically identical to the Italian bricks of that time. After the construction of the cathedral, Ivan III did not let Aristotele go home from Moscow. The Italian architect tried to leave secretly, and for this the Tsar put him in prison. Nothing is known about Aristotele's life after 1485. Like many Muscovite boyars who tried to flee from the disfavor of their Tsar, he may have managed to find refuge in the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. A stone slab with an inscription in Latin used to lie near the entrance to the Trinity Church. Fioravanti's grave may be somewhere here. Also, there is another opinion of the history of this place. It is said that in 1454 the Archbishop of Smolensk Misahail Pstruk founded the Orthodox Trinity Monastery here, and in the late 16th century the Chancellor of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania Leŭ Sapieha founded a Basilian monastery instead of it. In 1599, a white stone church was built in it, the ruins of which still stand on the shore of Lake Chariya. In the same year 1599, the Jesuit order developed and published the Plan of Studies that outlined the basic principles of the general school education system. There were 12 Jesuit collegiums in Belarus. The buildings of the collegiums in Cisla, Vorša, Polotsk, Pinsk, and Yuravichi have been preserved to this day. Also, on June 6, 1599, Diego Velázquez was born in the city of Seville, the most famous painter of the Baroque era, the golden age of Spanish painting. In 1656, he painted one of the most famous, complex in composition, and mysterious paintings in the world, Los Meninas, or Family of Philip IV. Also in 1599, the theatre, Globe, was built with the funds of the troupe of actors that included William Shakespeare. Some art critics believe that the theatre building is similar to Stonehenge and believe that its architect could be John Dee, a British natural philosopher, mathematician, geographer, astronomer, alchemist, and astrologer. John Dee and his, joint with Edward Kelly's, efforts to establish communication with angels are worth a separate story. Well, we shall return to the White Church. In 1929, the Soviet authorities closed the church. The bell was removed and thrown in the lake. They tried to wreck the temple with the help of machinery. They say that a terrible storm arose over the lake, which had never been seen in these places before. No more attempts were made to demolish the church. Its building was used as a granary and then simply abandoned. The White Church was a training base for novice climbers in the 1970s, 1980s, until one time when a young girl fell to her death from the wall. Nowadays, summer youth art festivals are held near the church every year. In May 2018, an international school of architecture took place here, after which, several art objects appeared on the peninsula. 2 participants of this school from Greece created a wooden structure that symbolizes the apse, a semicircular recess, The altar. The altar consists of wooden elements painted in the color of the preserved walls. The altar means respect for the history of this place and is a symbol of its revival and development. The alternation of gaps and blocks creates an impression of an altar melting into thin air. The first thing that is seen from afar is a three-tiered square bell tower. The thickness of its walls is 2 meters, most likely, they were intended for defensive purposes. A stone staircase once led to the third tier of the tower, where there were 4 bells. The side walls are separated by massive pilasters, vertical protrusions of rectangular section, and the 2 middle walls are connected by a perspective arch and form a wide portal. Specialists attribute the Trinity Church to the early Baroque period characterized by the squat proportions of the tower, the great thickness of walls, and one spacious nave. The walls and vault of the temple are unique as they have been preserved intact. Most other early Baroque monuments in the world have been remodeled many times. The Baroque is unusual, excessive, and illusory. All these features are characteristic of the White Church. Everyday life with its earthly affairs and worries disappears in this place. This is a place of power, as some say. That's probably why, as soon as you are in the vicinity, you are relentlessly tempted to veer off the pre-planned route to see the White Church. In 2016, the restoration of the temple was included in the state program, but it has not started yet. Time will pass, the Trinity Church will be restored, it will be beautiful and white, reflecting in the lake water, its bells will ring. But will the mystic soul of this place survive?